Hello, Karna Malik.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Welcome to the Global Virtual Summit 2026, Karna. And before going to start your session, I want to introduce you to our audience.
Yes, let's go.
Karna Malik is an independent researcher with interest in accounting innovation, digital transformation, financial management, business strategy, and organizational sustainability. Her work focuses on bridging academic research with practical business applications by exploring technology enabled professional services, contemporary accounting practices, and evidence informed decision making. They are committed to developing conceptual frameworks and interdisciplinary research that contribute to advancing modern accounting, financial governance, and sustainable business development. That was a great bio, Karna, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Often at times, we look at our bank account and we wonder, do I have enough money? Is there enough money to pay for the bills? Have I got enough money in case I have an emergency? Who here has felt that emotion looking at their bank account and asking themselves those questions? Let me tell you one thing. Money in your bank account is a reflection of something. Money in your bank account is a direct reflection of your relationship with money. Let me say this again. Money in your bank account is a direct reflection of your relationship with money. It's nothing to do with how hard you work. Because if hard work was the only way to get rich, then all the hardest working people in this world would be the richest. But we all know that is not true. Why do I make this statement? I was the same person who used to have the same belief that in order to make money, I have to work really hard. And the worst part is that despite of having enough money, I used to feel anxious at the time I had to spend money. Sometimes even sad, as if I'm about to lose something. Even money spent on basic necessities felt like a burden. It was my attachment to money and the feeling of scarcity that was driving all these feelings. Today, I am going to speak to you of how you can improve your relationship with money. What made me do this inner work and work on myself was that I always had enough money, but I felt like a poor person within. 2 years back, me and my daughter were doing some window shopping, and she asked me to buy her these Swarovski earrings. I said to her that I'm not prepared for this expense. But she, being a teenager, didn't want it to listen. I somehow paid for it. But what hit me was the emotion with which I paid for her earrings, the emotion of anger and the emotion of resentment. That she is going to wear those emotions every time she's going to put those earrings on. I asked myself, where did this come from? I have enough money. This was not about the earrings. This was something deeper. And as I started looking for this emotion back into my childhood, to see when was the first time I actually felt this, I saw 7-year-old Karuna, the one who used to live in a rental home with her parent. And every time she came down the stairs to play, she was told off to go back up by the landlord. And I remember this feeling that every time I had to go back up, I thought inside that my parents can't even afford a play area for me. I have to be stuck in the two small rooms that we were living in. I remember my dad working really hard to make money. He tried multiple businesses but kept failing. I saw my mother writing every single dollar that we had to spend to make sure there is no leakage. My mother once told me that when I was a newborn baby, they dreaded the feeling of buying the formula can because they didn't know where the money will come for it. So I grew up with these beliefs, and living in the family of seven, I remember we only ate potatoes because for us, even mushrooms were very expensive. So these beliefs became part of me. By teenage, my parents were doing very well. We were now in our own home, no longer in a rental home. But what I forgot that those beliefs were still running in my nervous system. And from my mother, I absorbed a lot of old ideas that a lot of us grow up with. Keep saving as you never know. You have to work hard for money. Be careful when spending money. And those beliefs became part of me. I came to Australia in 2002 as a young student with only $3,000 in my pocket and had no idea where and how I was going to earn income. But as in life, there is always two sides to everything, the upside and the downside, positive and negative. And part of my childhood, I did absorb some of the positive traits of my parents. And this is what I learned from them. Never give up. My dad, despite of failing in multiple businesses, never gave up and kept trying until he became a successful real estate agent. My mother taught me money management because every time she was writing every dollar we were spending, I learned how important it was to write down how much expenses you have. My mother also taught me the power of budgeting because by the age of 15, I was made responsible to manage the kitchen budget. And I had to make sure that I was managing everything within that budget. No wonder I am an accountant by profession. And those beliefs have helped me to help other clients of mine to learn how important it is to understand your cash flow your budgeting, and how important it is to have the right set of belief about money. But what I realized that my negative beliefs were way higher than my positive beliefs. I built my career in accounting, but when I reflected back, in my corporate roles, I didn't ask for a pay rise because I was still running with the fear that what if I lose my job. When I started my accounting practice, I undercharged because I was running on the fear that what if this client doesn't sign up if I ask him for more. And here is what I learned. Crises and opportunities don't make you feel anything. They just multiply your current emotional pattern by 10 times. I'm going to say this again. Crises and opportunities don't make you feel anything. They just multiply your current emotional pattern by 10 times. In my case, in the time of crisis, I was anyway running on the pattern of scarcity. But even when the opportunities came my way, when there was an opportunity for me to ask for a pay rise, I didn't ask for it because my pattern again was on scarcity. My parents' struggle was over, but I was still running on the same pattern. And every time money left my hands, it felt like I've lost something. Every moment that I had to spend money, I felt, what if I don't have enough for tomorrow? You are going to see two questions on the screen now, and I would like the audiences to type in their reply for these questions. How many of you feel uncomfortable spending money even when you have enough? Every time you have to pay a big bill, do you feel anxious? Do you feel stressed? Type in your response. Does this resonate with you? Do you feel these emotions? Let me tell you, if the answer is yes, then that's not money. That's your frequency. That's your emotional pattern around money. Until you do not change it, no amount of money can ever make you feel rich or abundant. Because from the outside, everything looks fine. But from the inside, you are still bracing. You are still reacting. You are tightening yourself. You are panicking. And I didn't realize it then that I was carrying this scarcity everywhere, in my job, in my business, in my relationships, and in money. Every payment felt heavy, every expense felt personal, and every time I had to spend, I felt like I'm losing something. But I never stopped to ask one obvious question, that if every interaction with money carries guilt, resentment, and fear, what kind of relationship am I building with money? Because think of any relationship in your life, whether it's your friend, family, or colleague, If you are going to have suspicion, anger, frustration in that relationship is meant to fail. Yet, we treat money exactly like this. We chase it, we fear it, we cling on to it. And then when we panic as well, because we are about to spend it. And yet we feel why abundance feels so far away. And we've got this belief that we got to make more money to feel happy. Let me tell you the secret. It's never about money. It's about your belief about money. It doesn't matter how much can you make. It matters how much can you sustain. And that changed everything for me. I started honestly looking at the stories that I born with or my mother told me. And I started questioning those stories because I was telling those stories repeatedly to myself. I saw that I had been taught that money only comes with struggle and hard work because that's exactly what my father had experienced. That easy flow of money was suspicious, that receiving was risky, holding on to it was better than spending or investing. But those beliefs were not serving me, they were limiting me. Hence, I made a decision that I am no longer going to treat money as a source of stress. I'm going to start treating money like my friend. And today, I have 6 sources of income. And that only happened because I changed my relationship with money. Today, when I have to spend money, I spend it with gratitude. I have to pay a bill, I visualize myself receiving more money in return. And I say inside myself, I'm grateful that I can pay this money because I know indirectly I'm supporting another family by paying this bill. I'm able to attract quality clients to my business because I am no longer operating out of fear and scarcity. I am charging my worth, the fees that I charge, because I no longer fear that the client will not sign. I also help my clients in changing their relationship with money. And today, I am going to share with you the stories of 2 clients that I have helped. One of this client came to me and his belief was that he's not good at saving money. And this was not because he was not making enough. It's just that his belief was that he's not good at saving money. I helped him rewrite his beliefs about money, helped him with his cash flow. And today, this client of mine is saving $1,500 a month consistently, and he can't even believe himself. The second client, he said to me that my parents never taught me that I have to budget for things. I thought the parents are bringing the money, we are all getting what we want, and that's how the life rolls. And he was running his family exactly the same way with no accountability. I worked with him on his budget, taught him how to budget for the inflows and the outflows. And today, being the sole earner for the family, he still saves $1,250 a month. Here are the 5 pillars that I work with. Heal your negative emotions about money. Replace the limiting inherited beliefs. Upgrade your money actions. Feel, think, believe, and act like a millionaire. And the most important one is to hold the frequency even when the money is not flowing. Because this last one is the most important. We all can feel abundant when the money is flowing. The real test is, how do you feel when the money is not there? So you have been struggling with money not because you lack skill, not because the economy is bad, and not because you are unlucky. You have been struggling because you are running on old beliefs about money. And until you do not change that, all these efforts, all that hard work, and all that what you are trying to achieve is not going to help you. I invite you to ask yourself, what is that one belief about money that I am holding that no longer serves me? If you want, you can type it into the chat as well. What is that one belief about money that no longer serves me? The moment you stop saying, what if there isn't enough, and start believing, there is always enough for me, and the whole game will be changed. Today, I am also going to share a money block assessment document with you. I'm going to ask the team to share that document, they already have it. You can go through this document and it will help you identify your current relationship with money and the blocks that you are holding. After doing this assessment, if you think you would like to have a healthier and more abundant relationship with money, then I'm happy to help you on that journey. And you can connect with me through my LinkedIn, which will also show up on the screen through a QR code. And there's a wealth mastery course I would like to invite you to. And that's a free 1 hour preview of how this course can help you and how you can build a better relationship with money, which is not fear driven, because there is nothing to be fearful of about money. Thank you very much for listening to me so patiently. I am now open for your questions, and I already can see there are 2 questions. So Haley is asking, how can women become more confident in making financial decisions? You have to start with small steps, Haley. There's nothing like taking a massive decision and feeling good about it. It all starts with taking small decisions. Let's say you want to reach a goal of a certain saving every single month. Let's say, for example, it's only $500. Divide that into 30 days and just make sure you are putting that money on the side by having a separate bank account. It can be just a direct debit through your bank account, and that money automatically leaves your main home running account and goes to the savings account. Once you are able to do those small things, the compound effect of that is massive. And we always underestimate the compounding effect of money. I hope I've answered your question. What role does budgeting play in achieving the financial freedom? Haruki, budgeting is very, very important. As I said to you in my example, I remember when I was saving for my home deposit, I was going to buy my house in Australia. And I was on a very low level of income at that time. But because I was budgeted for how much is going to go in the discretionary spending, how much am I going to spend on the electricity, gas, all the basics were all written down as a budget. And then I never went above my discretionary spending because I had a goal that I had to save this much money every month to get to my home deposit. So budget plays a very, very important role, especially if you do not have a budget, especially in today's time because it's all digital money. We all can spend money on a credit card. And then when the bill comes around, because we never had a budget, we have ended up overspending money. The one message that I would like the audience to leave this session with is that it's very important of how you think about money. Because in my situation, although my initial childhood was struggling, but then my parents were thriving by the time I became a teenager. My beliefs were really bad. I always had enough money, but I felt very bad just because my beliefs were very corrupted. So, if you can make sure that every time you spend money, you spend it with a lot of gratefulness, that is one important message I would like you to take away. Do not spend money with anger and frustration because it is affecting your energy with money. And money is also just an energy. And if you want good energy, you've got to do the right thing every time you're making a decision in relation to money, whether it's spending, whether it's saving, whether it's investing. So, question that I have from Charlotte is what inspired you to focus on developing a new money mindset? As I mentioned in my talk, for me, it was very important to actually enjoy my wealth. And I was not enjoying what I had. I used to honestly lose myself in the shopping center if I have come from home and I'm not ready for that expense and my kids have asked something. And it's not that I was struggling for money, but I was frustrated of how I felt within. And when you feel poor within, that's a curse in its own self. And that's where my inner journey began. Because I wanted to feel abundant, irrespective of how my situations were. I wanted to feel abundant within. And that's what started my journey of having that new money mindset. Cecily, very good question. So that question is kind of, I relate to that question. Why do so many people struggle with money despite earning a good income? And that's me. That's what I used to be. The reason people struggle, there are three important reasons. First, the belief about money is corrupted. The second one is they do not understand the power of writing down or keeping a tab on how much they are spending. So today's world, we can actually download our bank statements and we can do the coding and see how much are you spending. Having a true picture of what your total outflow and inflow is very important, and that's where people fail. And emotional spending is the third reason that people fail despite of having good income, because they're very emotionally driven, not prudent at the time of spending money. So that is why people fail despite of having good income.
Thank you so
I
much,
hope I have
Karna.
answered. Thank you. Thank you. And as I said, if any of you would like to connect with me, my QR code is coming up on the screen. And I really appreciate all of you asking the questions. I'm truly, truly grateful for
Yeah.
connecting with all of you virtually.
Thank you for answering every question in the chat box, Karuna. And you have chosen an excellent topic today. Thank you so much.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, and please be on the backstage and join the next section, Karuna.
Sure, no problems. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.